President Donald Trump in the hospital tonight. He's being extra careful after coming down with coronavirus.
Major changes are coming to absentee ballot rules in our state inside the judge's decision. Plus, phase 3 is underway tonight. A first look at the rules in action.
We begin with breaking news tonight. North Carolina Senator Thom Tillis tests positive for coronavirus. His office released a statement tonight confirming the diagnosis.
Tillis says he tested negative on Saturday but tested positive tonight. Now he'll spend 10 days self-isolating in his home. In a statement tonight, he said, "I have no symptoms and I feel well. COVID-19 is a very contagious and deadly virus. I encourage all North Carolinians to follow the recommendations of health experts."
It's important to note, just last night, Senator Tillis was on the debate stage with Democratic nominee for Senator Cal Cunningham. It was their third and final debate. The two were 6 feet apart the whole way, except for the beginning where they touched elbows. Tillis's campaign will halt all in-person events until further notice. Cal Cunningham tweeted earlier tonight saying he is also getting tested. He says, "I'm wishing Senator Thom Tillis a quick recovery following his positive test. I'm thinking of him and his family." 2 days ago, Tillis met Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett. Judge Barrett did test negative for the virus earlier today. Tillis was one of 8 other senators at that event. Governor Roy Cooper tweeted his support for Senator Tillis tonight. He says, "Praying for a quick recovery for Senator Thom Tillis. This is a highly contagious virus, but we can work together to fight it by wearing a mask, washing our hands, and waiting 6 feet apart."
Now on to the health status of the President of the United States. President Trump will spend the next few days at Walter Reed Medical Center after he tested positive early this morning. The White House says he has minor symptoms.
Other sources close to the president say that he is running a low-grade fever. His physician says that he's fatigued. Now, the president left the White House earlier this afternoon via helicopter, and hours earlier, he took an experimental antibody cocktail. It's not clear if that's had any effect on his health. Shortly before departing, the president posted this video on Twitter.
I want to thank everybody for the tremendous support. I'm going to Walter Reed Hospital. I think I'm doing very well, but we're going to make sure that things work out. The First Lady is doing very well. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. I will never forget it. Thank you.
The president has not needed to hand off duties to Vice President Mike Pence. It is worth noting Pence and Second Lady Karen Pence both tested negative earlier today. Democratic nominee Joe Biden was on stage with President Trump earlier this week. Today, Biden says he and his wife tested negative for the virus. He tweeted, "I hope this serves as a reminder. Wear a mask, keep social distance, and wash your hands." Now, this is a developing situation, but you can count on us to bring you the latest on the president's health on air and online.
A judge's decision has major implications on how you're voting in this election. The rules around absentee ballots will change this year. Today, Judge Brian Collins settled a lawsuit putting the rules in place. Barring any appeals before Election Day, here's what changes. First, the deadline to submit absentee ballots is now extended. Ballots must be postmarked before Election Day. The Board of Elections must receive the ballot no later than November 12th, 9 days later. Next, voters can correct any mistakes they make on their absentee ballot. No need to fill out a new one. If you forget to have a witness signature or they sign in the wrong place, the Board of Elections will let you know. They'll send you a new document so you can fix the mistake. The deadline is the same here, postmarked before Election Day, received by November 12th. Lastly, absentee ballot drop-offs must be at early voting locations. You can do it yourself, or you can have someone drop it off for you. Just know you might be asked for an address and a phone number. Now, these new rules only apply to the upcoming election. It's an effort to streamline the process during a pandemic. Many Republican lawmakers are opposed to the decision, saying it could open the door to voter fraud. They plan to file lawsuits challenging the changes. House Speaker Tim Moore said, "We strongly disagree with this decision, and we will continue to use every legal avenue available to ensure voter confidence in this election." Senate Leader Phil Berger said, "We will not stop fighting to uphold the law that protects against absentee ballot fraud."
Now, between disinformation online and the dangers from the pandemic, it's important for you to feel that your absentee ballot is secure. So WFMY News 2's Alma McCarty spoke to the State Board of Elections about how to make sure your vote counts.
Traditionally, voters in our state prefer to cast their ballot in person. The State Board of Elections reports that only around 4 or 5% voted absentee mail-in in prior elections. But this year, it's likely that percentage will jump to 30. The State Board of Elections homepage shows more than 1.1 million people have requested an absentee ballot so far, and more than 300,000 cast them successfully. Executive Director Karen Brinson-Bell says only a very small fraction have had their ballot rejected.
It's a little over 2%, not quite 3%, who have had some issue in the way that they have completed their return materials.
Brinson-Bell says those voters will be contacted to correct the issue, adding it's usually with the witness section.
If they follow the instructions that are very well stepped through on the absentee return envelope, it starts with step 1. Get a witness. Have your witness handy.
To make things as clear as possible, the Board of Elections redesigned the envelope with this and subsequent instructions. After you vote and insert the ballot into the envelope, you sign it. The witness provides their name, address, and signature.
At that point, it's a completed ballot.
You can now track your ballot from the comfort of your home using ballot tracks and sign up for email, text, and voice alerts.
Recommending to voters that they start, if they haven't mailed their ballot back to the County Board of Elections, that they do so by October the 27th to ensure that it has the time in the mail system to be properly postmarked.
You can also drop your absentee ballot at the County Board of Elections office up until 5 p.m. on November 3rd, or at any early voting site between October 15th and 31st. Alma McCarty, WFMY News 2.
The way this election year has been going, you know there's got to be a few more twists and turns before November 3rd. Count on us to keep you updated on WFMYnews2.com.
In other news, phase 3 is officially underway tonight. Many businesses able to reopen here in North Carolina. Bars are a big highlight here. This is video from the Bearded Goat in downtown Greensboro. Many folks happy to stop by for the first time in 6 months. The rules still pretty restrictive. 30% capacity, outdoors only. Bearded Goat owner Seth Mapes says he thinks it's too strict.
I'm almost positive we would be okay to meet the criteria of close to 100 people.
Keep in mind the alcohol sales curfew is still in effect, so bars can't sell drinks after 11 p.m. Amusement parks and movie theaters are also allowed to reopen, both limited to 30% capacity.
We moved from phase 2.5 to phase 3 in about a month, and a lot needed to happen in that time for it to happen. The governor and the health department look at 4 data points to make these decisions. I want to look at what happened between September 4th, when phase 2.5 started, and today, the beginning of phase 3. First, any reported illness even resembling coronavirus. This is a graph from the state. Overall, the numbers are down, and they've stayed low over the past 4 weeks. Now on to new confirmed cases. You can see a few peaks and valleys across the last 4 weeks over there. Overall, that line is staying flat. No daily total went over 2,500 cases. Another important number, the percentage of tests coming back positive. Some small changes week to week, but the line has stayed flat here as well. The health department wants us at or below 5%. In the last 4 weeks, we've stayed between 4 and 6%, only jumping up to 7% once. Lastly, the task force looks at coronavirus patients in the hospital. These numbers are consistent too, never rising above 950, and the line is staying flat. What comes next for our state largely depends on what happens with the numbers. Count on us to continue keeping track.
As fall rolls on, it's really starting to make itself known. Cooler and cooler air continuing to filter in. The temperature now 53 degrees in Greensboro, and we're on our way to quite a chilly night of weather. Let me show you those local temperatures right now. Zooming into Guilford County, we have some mid-50s locally, 49 in High Point though, and 48 already in Summerfield. Kernersville, you're sitting at 49 at the moment, 52 in Winston-Salem, some more 40s to the north in Rockingham County and Lawsonville and Stokes County too. You get the idea. We're cooling quickly, and by the time we get to tomorrow morning, I expect most of us will be in the mid-40s or even some low 40s in some of the rural areas. In fact, once you get out into the foothills and the mountains, some 30s can't be completely ruled out. It's just that time of year we start to get cooler, and there will be that crisp fall feel all day tomorrow. The morning is, of course, the chilly part, but the afternoon's pretty nice. Mid and upper 60s with really nothing but sunshine. Saturday's a beauty. Sunday should be pretty nice as well. Let's call for 67 degrees for tomorrow. We'll have the rest of the weekend forecast, plus take a look at the tropics and your 7-day forecast coming up.
2 more Guilford County schools are closed for cleaning after the district confirms 2 more positive cases of coronavirus. 1 case at Murphy Elementary and another case at Faulkner Elementary. The school buildings will stay closed until Monday. Remember, students don't go back until October 20th. And an elementary school in Randolph County also reporting a confirmed coronavirus case tonight. Their school district has been doing in-person classes since the beginning. A person at Hopewell Elementary tested positive yesterday. Anyone who came into contact has been notified and will spend the next 2 weeks learning remote.
There's a big spike in cases at a living facility in Burlington. Alamance Health Care Center has reported 39 more positive tests today. It also confirmed its first coronavirus death today. The facility now has 70 total cases, 42 residents, and 28 employees. The state health department confirmed 4 new outbreaks at living facilities in our area today. 2 in Stokes County, 1 in Surrey, and 1 in Forsyth. In total, there are 24 new cases. No one has died.
New tonight, one of the deadliest outbreaks in the Triad comes to an end. Maple Grove Health and Rehabilitation Center is in Greensboro. They've now gone 28 days without a new positive case. In total, they tallied 126 total cases, 22 people died. It's the second most fatalities at one living facility outbreak in our area. The most came in Burlington at White Oak Manor with 31. Their outbreak ended months ago. Maple Grove is one of 4 living facilities that celebrated the end of their outbreak today. Trinity Elms in Winston-Salem, Pruitt Health, Elkin in Surrey County, and the Randolph County Detention Center are the others. In total, 239 people tested positive, 35 people died. Now, families across North Carolina have been struggling because of the pandemic. Hundreds of thousands of people filing for unemployment. Now, some are still waiting for their checks to come through. This week, 2 Wants to Know's Kevin Kennedy has been helping out, and tonight he shares the story of a woman who owns a cleaning business.
It's not something many of us like to do. It's also why Lori Fry had a nice little cleaning business going.
Through years of referrals from the first ones that I cleaned for, I picked up several over the years.
About 30 regular customers would quickly dwindle down to 5 just a few weeks after the pandemic hit. Client after client pulling the plug on house cleaning.
Several of them immediately told me, they had to lay me off or let me go until the COVID lifted or things improved.
Lori, not sure if she would qualify for any relief packages, saw a story we did with the law school at Wake Forest. She reached out and was told most likely she would qualify for pandemic assistance, but when she applied, there was a problem.
It kept telling me there were issues. It didn't deny me, but it just said there were open issues. Welcome.
So Lori called and called, eventually reaching someone at DES.
The workers that are working the phones didn't know what to tell me. They didn't know how to fix it.
1 month would become 2 and then 3. Still no pandemic assistance money coming in.
Basically crying and praying to God every single day. It was desperate. I was having to rely on my family, my sisters.
The next week, Lori called us. We contacted DES and it agreed to escalate the claim and investigate the matter.
The supervisor was able to tell me that another worker, a temporary worker, had inadvertently deleted something from my claim.
It took about a week to fix the issue, but finally, after 3 months of waiting, a call from us, and some help from the Wake Forest Law School, Lori saw the money in her account, $3,000.
I would just like to say thank you to News 2. Had I not seen that, I would be in a very bad, desperate situation at this moment.
Maybe it does pay to watch the news. Kevin Kennedy, 2 Wants to Know.
So far, Kevin has helped secure more than $24,500 in benefits for folks across the Triad.
You know, Election Day is a big deal, but there's another bit of civic duty on our plates this year, the census. There's some dispute over the deadline. It could be as early as Monday or as late as the end of the month. It might not sound like a big deal, but it is. The census happens every 10 years, as you know. A lot can change in that time, so let's take a look back. Picture this, it's 2010. The world looks very differently. President Obama is in his second year in office. The iPad debuts worldwide and there are no other tablets on the market. The best basketball player in the world, LeBron James, announced he's moving to Miami. The point here, 10 years is a long time. Things change. It's important those changes are counted. The census is used for all sorts of things, federal funding for schools, hospitals, and roads. Plus, the census determines how many seats states get in the U.S. House. So far, just 62% of North Carolinians have filled out their census form. The bottom line here, the census deadline is coming up. It takes 10 minutes to fill out. If you do nothing else this weekend, do that. The next 10 years depends on it.
When the going gets tough, the tough gets going. We want you to meet these two former Triad preschool teachers. They left education to try something a little different. A look inside their new opportunity